Okay, so we've got some pretty interesting stuff to dig into today.
Yeah, looks like fun.
We've got some stats and articles previewing the Brentford-Man City match.
Right, Premier League.
Yeah, and at first glance, it looks like kind of like your classic David and Goliath story, right?
Sure.
Brentford, the underdog, taking on the reigning champs, Man City.
Okay.
But if we look a little closer, there were some pretty interesting narratives here.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
So Brentford, yeah, they're sitting comfortably mid-table right now, but they've hit a bit of a rough patch at home lately.
Interesting.
And then you have Man City, who some are having a season to forget, but they seem to be finding their groove again.
Definitely seems that way.
So let's break it down.
Sounds good.
What makes this matchup so interesting to you?
Well, I think it's the unexpected trends we're seeing and some of the key players and how all that might actually make you rethink how this game's going to go.
All right, so let's start with Brentford.
Okay.
3 straight losses at home.
Yeah.
You know, that's got to be a concern for fans. They're
Absolutely.
usually so strong at home.
They are historically very strong on their own turf, so these recent struggles are quite surprising.
Yeah. What do you think's going on there?
Well, one thing that jumps out at me is their struggles to control games after taking the lead.
Okay.
Seems like they've conceded some late goals in several matches, and that's led to some, draws or even losses.
Right.
Which, if you're a Brentford supporter, that trend's got to be worrying you.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about that Southampton game a few weeks back, right?
Right.
That 5-0 win feels like the outlier.
Yeah, I was going to say that does feel like the exception, not the rule.
Right.
Lately, they've been struggling to find consistent scoring.
Yeah. And if I'm looking at the stats right here, they've only managed more than a single goal in one of their last 7 games.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
So potentially a weakness for them is holding on to leads.
Yeah, seems like it.
Now, on the flip side, we've got Man City, who seem to have rediscovered their scoring touch.
Yeah, that 8-0 win against Salford City, that was a statement.
For sure.
And it wasn't just a one-off either.
Right.
Their recent form suggests they're returning to that, that championship swagger.
Right, right.
And a win here would secure their first 4-game winning streak since October.
Wow.
So clearly they're back on track,
Back on track. They're looking good.
Yeah, so we're seeing that Man City dominance against those bottom 10 teams on the road. We're seeing their recent form.
Yep.
But haven't they also kind of had Brentford's number in their past few meetings?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They've won the last 3 head-to-head matches. And the last time they played Man City, just completely controlled the midfield.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, prevented Brentford from building any sustained attacks. It was a tactical masterclass, really.
Really?
Yeah.
So a lot seems to be pointing towards a Man City win here.
It does seem that way.
But you've also highlighted a couple of players to watch.
Yes.
So let's talk about Mikkel Damsgaard for Brentford. So he's been their creative spark this season. He's leading Brentford in assists.
Yeah.
And he's right up there among the Premier League's top playmakers.
And he's a pretty versatile player.
Yeah, he is. And that's what's so impressive is the variety of his assists.
Yeah, explain that a little bit.
So he can deliver those pinpoint crosses, threading passes through tight defenses, and even chip in with those set-piece deliveries.
Wow, that's a lot.
He does a lot.
Yeah, so you picked Savinho for Man City to watch.
Right.
He's a super talented player.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like his form's been a little bit up and down.
He has been inconsistent. True.
Why him?
Well, in his last 2 appearances, he's been on fire, like 4-goal contributions.
Wow.
Seems like he's found his confidence, and if he can maintain this form, he could be a real difference maker against Brentford.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now for this hot stat that you dug up.
All right.
This one really surprised me. Brentford has lost more Premier League games after scoring first than any other team this season.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right? No, not ideal.
What does that tell us?
I think it highlights a possible vulnerability for them.
Okay.
Remember that match against Newcastle earlier this season?
I do vaguely, yeah.
So Brentford scored first, but then kind of seemed to sit back, and they allowed Newcastle to dictate the tempo and ultimately scored 2 late goals to win. And it's not just that game. They haven't been able to maintain their intensity or tactical discipline after going up a goal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So even if Brentford scores first, there's no guarantee they can hold on to that lead.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And this kind of plays right into Man City's hands, right?
Absolutely.
Especially with their renewed attacking prowess.
Exactly. City's known for their relentless pressure and ability to break down stubborn defenses. And if Brentford sits back after scoring, they're just inviting trouble.
Yeah, for sure. So this deep dive has really revealed some hidden layers to this match.
Yeah, it's more than meets the eye for sure.
So it seems like Man City has the edge.
On paper, definitely.
But Brentford, with Damsgaard kind of pulling the strings,
Right.
always a threat.
They are.
And that hot stat
Yeah.
adds a whole other level of intrigue.
For sure. For sure, this match might be closer than the odds suggest. Brentford's ability to create chances, especially on the counterattack, could really exploit Man City's high defensive line.
Even if they concede first.
Yeah, even if they go down a goal or two, they could come back.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So for those listening at home,
Yeah.
here's something to think about. Could Brentford's counterattacking style be the key to upsetting Man City?
That's the question, isn't it?
It'll be really fascinating to see how it all plays out.
I'm excited to watch it.
Me too.
It should be a good one.
It should be.